And we're live. Welcome once again to the City of Doors.
Good evening, everyone.
Indeed, indeed. So, for those of you who did not miss our last incredibly riveting episode, you got to see the joys of appliance shopping in the epicenter of the multiverse. A very interesting session for me, I will say. I can't say I've ever done such an extensive shopping trip with a D&D game before, which I actually enjoyed it.
It was quite sad. Normally, I'd be very excited to buy a new oven. Unfortunately, that is real life.
Yes. But you did get pretty advanced model as far as D&D ovens go. Anybody remember your little buddy's name in there?
Bob the Fire Builder.
Bob the Fire Builder, that's right. Bob the Fire Builder is now part of the crew. So, when we last left off, precisely, anybody want to recap exactly how we left off?
Well,
You want to get it?
sure.
Go on.
Well, we left off at the beginning of last session. We were still at the Shattered Temple, and we were asking questions of Factal Terrence and everyone else. And they weren't able to give us straight answers to questions. In fact, their answer seemed a little nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And it soon became apparent that everyone at the temple was the subject of what appeared to be a mass feeble mind spell. So, not knowing how to help, we went to find Kayleen's family and got them to go down to the Shattered Temple because we didn't know who else to turn to and we had other obligations. So we started kitchen shopping, as per Zill's request, which led us to a shop in the lower ward, which I have forgotten the name of now, but sold secondhand goods, some of which could possibly be magical, and Nil got into a bit of a buying spree whenever it came to magical kitchen items, and a strange basher named Lucia came up and managed to get a whole lot of non-magical kitchen supplies for the crew for a good discounted price. So that took up a good majority of the time last session. Where we left off, we had everything delivered back to the agency, and everyone went to sleep to come back the next morning for a group meeting regarding the evidence in Sari's murder.
It's a profitable trip to the Golden Bell pawn shop.
There you go.
Yeah.
Golden Bell.
I feel deep in my heart the very opposite of profitability.
Well, yeah, that's fair. You spent more than you made. But you have Bob the Fire Builder now.
And who can put a price on that?
And more importantly, a happy landlord.
And dire sausage.
And dire sausage, yes.
Dire sausage.
Yes,
How could I overlook the dire sausage?
the strong box with the dire sausage, yes. Which is actually right here.
Nice.
So, everybody went to sleep. You know, rested on the day's shopping. Got back up, and to your stupendous wonder, the kitchen was complete overnight, without a sound.
Can I not sleep?
No, you have to.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. It's up to you.
No, I'm just
I
asking because
don't
Nil doesn't
sleep.
need to sleep. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, well, I use the term loosely. Most people who don't sleep will trance or meditate or kind of zone out or
Oh yeah, and the master doesn't need to sleep either.
Yeah.
He tranced for 4 hours, which
yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's all fine. It's all fine.
However, it is definitely funnier if we don't know. So Jimmy did not see anything.
Yes, it was a silent occurrence. So yeah, you guys come downstairs. There's little Pohan down there, chilling in the new room. Obviously waiting for someone to, offer some food.
What?
Yeah,
No, that's Jimmy walking through the door of the kitchen.
No, that's Pohan
What?
responding. Yeah, Kitchen's done.
No, I don't know.
Kitchen's done. Be pretty awesome if, somebody with opposable thumbs was to fix a really big meal.
I'll see if there's any meat in the dire sausage locker.
You got a hunk of platinum? That'd be really good.
I mean, I do have some platinum, but not like a lot.
I'm just a little hungry.
For platinum? Oh, I'm sorry. You eat precious metals, not like.
Yeah.
And pizza.
And
Okay.
pizza.
It's got just
I feel
enough
like we
iron.
could buy a lot of pizza with the platinum that I would be giving you to eat.
But yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I knew you guys had went through all the trouble of getting this done, and I know it was going to be a while. There's a diva that lives down the way that owes me a favor. I put in a couple of words. Bing, bang, boom. Kitchen.
That's real nice of you, Pohan. I'm gonna capitalize on this real fast and get Zil to look at it.
Yeah, and then we can have homemade pizza.
Yeah.
I walk off down to the basement stairs. Give a gentle rap at the door.
It opens almost as much as soon as you go there. And there, of course, is your illustrious landlord.
Zil, how you feeling?
I got a good night's sleep last night for the first time in a long time. Yeah, I see you are a man of your word.
It's a beaut. Have you seen it yet? Taking a good look around?
Yes, actually. I don't sleep very much most nights, and I'm just kind of used to it, so I've actually had a little meander up, poked around a bit. Did you know there's a fire elemental in the stove?
I did. I'm glad you met Bob.
Oh,
He's a real acquisition for the team.
I just wanted to make sure he was supposed to be there, and this wasn't going to come back and bite me later.
Oh no, he's supposed to be there. You want the good quality kitchenware. There's going to be an elemental or two.
Fair. Just
Speaking of kitchenware, can I ask one small question?
Yes.
I would like to keep the preservation box in the kitchen that we just installed, but I would like to know if it's okay for me to keep the knives in my inventory.
You bought them.
Okay. I worry that having celestial knives around somebody who probably get hurt by them wouldn't be the best thing.
The kitchen has a set of good quality steel knives that Lucia bought for y'all.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah, and we only need normal ones. It's not like we need.
well, plus everyone's got a dagger, most likely.
Yeah,
Yep.
There's so many rogues in this party, you can't get away from them.
yeah. I just
Alright.
worry that it would be extra hurtful, so I'd rather keep them on one of my characters if I can.
That's fine.
I mean, Nil bought them with their money, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's no problem.
Same for the larder.
So yeah, Zil will shake your hand, Jimmy. He says, "Thank you very much. You've bought me a little piece."
Always glad. Always glad. You go relax. You enjoy the rest of your day. We're gonna
Yeah.
probably get to business.
Look, there's no surprises today, right?
None that I have planned.
Okay, so nothing's gonna come crashing through the door. No fires. No explosions.
And with
If
that,
anything
you hear a
crashes
knock
through
at
the door, I will go.
With that, there's a knock at the door.
If they
Dum,
crash
dum,
through
dum.
the door, I'll punch them in the face.
If somebody's knocking, I'm gonna go downstairs and let you handle that. It's probably for you anyway.
Jimmy opens the door. He's growing somehow less cautious as things grow more dangerous.
Classic.
Alrighty, you find Tember there.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Come on in.
Hello.
You're a little early, actually, but that's fine. We can get the meeting started.
I'd like to speak to you.
Please do come in. We're gonna do a big team meeting, but we can have a little conversation if you want.
There you go. Timber's
Yeah,
on the board
we
there
can-
for you.
Thank you. We can speak after the meeting. I just would like to have a word with you.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Let me round everybody up.
You guys gonna meet in the kitchen?
No, but they're all there, so I gotta go grab them. Is Kasey here? Was Kasey just staying here?
Yeah,
Yeah. I believe it was part of the
not
deal.
exactly sure where he was.
Yeah. Just had to check.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He does a quick head count. Yeah. All right. Team's all here, at least what can be assembled of it. Let's head upstairs. We got a lot to talk through.
All right.
Does anybody else hear that?
I heard like a hissing noise for a moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me know if my mic's not working well. I'm trying something. It's still, I don't think it's 100% of what it was before.
Sounds good.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
clearer than a lot of the past nights, actually.
Doing good.
Yep.
I'm just not sure if it's going to pick up things it shouldn't.
No, you're all right.
You sound good.
So
Okay.
is everyone upstairs? That's meant to be.
We're missing some Master Miss piloted characters.
That's why I didn't move them. I never know. It might be intentional.
Hmm. Jimmy is settling into a little spot there by the desk.
Nice and warm.
Still upset about that stove. But on to actual business, not just personal failures. I have been afraid to go and check the news and see how the Athar are doing. Anybody seen the paper? Tember, you seen the paper?
I
Would
should
I have
have
had a
a
chance to
subscription.
see the paper?
Only if you went
I should have a
looking for it.
subscription. Shouldn't I have like a thing that sends it to me?
A prescription?
Yes.
Medicinal papers.
Yeah, a subscription to the,
Hi.
to the Daily Chant.
Do you have a subscription to the Daily Chant?
Can I get one?
Where did you get
I
it?
don't already have it. Because I brought one to Jimmy the other day.
Yes,
I
that
don't know
is
if
true.
it just shows up or.
I have a sub.
Yeah.
I want to take a
I
moment
don't.
to acknowledge the recent roles, though.
I'm seeing
The
this.
last 2 purposeless roles.
I don't
we
know what-
have,
This is
I don't know
wrong.
exactly what happened there.
and a null.
Well, I rolled advantage on the D&D Beyond, and that's how it came up. I rolled a 10 and a 20 for the perception.
I think the square bracket needs to be after keep highest 1, as opposed to after the +9.
Yeah, it's weird.
I just want to take a moment to observe the wonders of technology that allow us to roll a 0 on the D20 +9.
And then a 1.
It's because you said rolling 0. It's because you said rolling 0. When I hover over it, it says rolling 0, and then all that stuff in brackets notwithstanding.
It's weird. I literally just used the button on the D&D Beyond thing. So
Did you? You have to click on. What is it? When you open, here, let me pull it up. It's one of the titles you have to click on. Hang on. Bear with me. Like features and traits. When you first load it up, you have to click on features and traits, and for some reason that'll sync.
I had done that.
Huh.
That's weird.
That is weird. But it's all good. It's all good. We'll work this out. So we're in. Everybody's chilling.
We're doing stuff. That's a more reasonable number.
All right. It's working now. Well, for the non-advantage one anyway.
There you go.
Did Tember wind up having seen the paper?
It's
With
today
the
is
natural one. I'm gonna say no.
probably not.
Can I try?
Well, I'll go ahead to. Does anybody know today's date?
Okay. It should be the 9th,
Mhm.
I think.
Very good. Very good. It is the 9th. The paper was really. It was drivel. You have a copy of the Daily Chant. You still see the weird, like misuses of the cant here and there that you've started to kind of pick out, but beyond that, there's really not much in there that's relevant. You could give it to Bob if you want.
For fuel, or just because he likes to read the news in the morning, we may never know.
Maybe both.
Certainly,
Why
we'll
not
never
both?
get those papers back.
Why not both?
Having seen the paper. Well, honestly, that's weirder. Worry about that later. We have enough to go over before we start getting into absolute current events.
Yep.
Okay. Most important things first. The lady showed up. Should probably take a moment to acknowledge that.
Absolutely terrified.
Yeah. Yeah. Second time for me. Second time I've seen that. Much worse than the first. And the first was not great. This belies a certain seriousness about this case that it was already well on its way to having, and I feel like it's got it now. We're pretty good at this. I think we can handle it. But Pohan and I are gonna have to figure out how to screw the collective Hardheads and Harmonium out of more money for this.
Fair.
I feel like when the lady gets involved, the budget should go up. Just a feeling. Alright, that's for later. Figured I'd mention it though. Effectively, you're all getting a small raise.
I say nobody wants to argue for less money.
I'll pass.
I'm not actually getting paid by you.
Yeah.
You can have a small honorarium for bold service in the line of duty. We share the wealth. We share the wealth around here. All right. We have collected some evidence. Most of it was not a struggle to collect. It was right there in front of our faces. All of it is kind of frustrating to piece together. Let's start. We've reviewed the first murder together. Let's start with the second. I think before we even set out, I explained that we had someone on the inside of that one. Did I explain? Master, I know you know. You walked in, but we had an associate of our dear friend, the ghost, on the scene. Kind of ran into it. We have a little bit of evidence back. He's got the shirt hanging in the corner still.
Your dear friend. Yeah, sure.
I'm sure you'll be friendly eventually, Master.
Because we haven't met them yet. So.
Time's coming. Time's coming. Can't continue on with all this clandestine nonsense for too long.
Sure.
Plot twist, Jimmy's actually the one hiding it. He's the killer.
But
No comment.
This one.
Wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
Yeah, that was the basis of that interrogation of the Factal about the time, and I would really have loved to have good info back on that if they hadn't all been brain drained.
Yeah.
Jimmy's rubbing his own head at this point. Magic not being my specialty, even I know that takes a lot of juice.
Yep.
I watched a very scaly man blow an actual dragon out of the sky. I think that probably took more juice to drain basically a faction of their entire working mind. And that's gonna present us with some difficulties regards to collecting statements.
Yep.
I'm going to open the floor to comments. I think we've got somebody conducting major ritual magics. Somebody who's got at least a screw loose and probably is quite insane, given that they're willing to risk the wrath of a certain powerful figure. I can't help but wonder where Lim got off to. I know he was doing some nonsense like this, but this seems a bit much for him. What's everybody think?
You don't know.
Air your thoughts. Tell me how you feel.
One of me says nah at the same time that the other says like none of this matters.
Which is which, though? It's relevant.
The nah was pitched down.
So the master said no.
Yeah.
That was the guess.
Sorry.
That was the guess.
I mean, Nil has a 20 intelligence and just is a nihilist, so doesn't think any of this matters. So like, connecting the dots really isn't that much of a challenge, but at the same time, why though? Because the closer we get to this case, the more the person that's perpetrating all this stuff gets upset with us and attacks, essentially, you know? So what are we accomplishing?
Criminals and villains of all stripes getting angry at us is really part of the job description. That's just the working day. That doesn't bother me. Well, in this case, maybe I'll let it bother me a little. Not enough to stop.
Job's a job.
I really feel like we're chasing our tails here.
What?
We have a few leads that we can pursue. The
Like we have-
inquiry into the paper is still pretty much open.
It's like we have allies, but we're not using them to the best of our ability. You know, and we're here looking for some clandestine murder while time ticks by, you know, and we got the angler and we got the limb and we've got all these components that are working together for our destruction. We don't really know how any of them work together at all.
Look at her mom.
Whether our shadowy benefactor, he's rubbing his palm at this point, is involved in this particular case, don't know.
Could be. Haven't
If
heard
so-
from him in a while.
We're drawn to another confrontation. If not, then it's just another job. As long as he's leaving us alone, I'm willing to leave him on the back burner.
What is that?
Yeah, it's some like hissing noise.
In character, like that's my reaction every time I hear it. I'm like,
I think it's part of the audio track, maybe.
I don't know if this is actually supposed to be something that I'm hearing, but like, I picture like Nils just sitting there all peaceful, like, and then the master's like, his ears perk up and he's like, what? And he looks off into the far distance, like,
You all have tinnitus.
yeah.
We've been
A
around
wild
enough
case of ear
explosions.
bungee. Like, what
I
is
wouldn't be
going
too
on?
surprised. No. All right, we have one vote for none of this matters. Taken under consideration, we have one vote for nah.
Mm.
Timber, Kasey, you're up.
Okay, well, to me, it's a job.
Now, feel free to start a little closer to a real statement than Nil chose to. I'm not going to require you to prove that doing the job is worthwhile. I'm already pretty convinced.
Other than there's something really fishy going on here, I've yet to make my mind up.
Jimmy looks just like a little disappointed, but he hides it well. Timber, man of the hour, what is your theory?
For me, this job is the whole reason I'm here. Like I said, I was sent to help with this. If we're not doing this, it's been a pleasure meeting you all, but that's, I don't really
Nil,
need
you
to be
see
here
what
then.
you've done? You see what you've done, Nil. You have
But
now they're questioning just the basic reason for existing at this stage.
if
You're
their
really good at
verification
that.
and if their justification for existing wasn't strong enough to withstand my comments, then how strong was it?
Ooh. No.
See, you're too good at that.
Getting saucy.
Causes trouble.
Okay.
But I remember how argument's supposed to work. You know, my education was later in life, but I remember debate. Let's start from an assertion that existing has both meaning and the current goal of our existence is to identify this murderer. From there, take it away.
The one time someone got close to seeing this murderer, it did not go well for this person.
No,
Right.
not really.
So what would continuing the investigation entail?
The same thing that we've been doing for years and years in some cases, and at least a little while in others. We pursue our leads, we identify people who might have more information and then get it out of them, and hopefully at some point we can set a trap and catch them in it. That would be my preference. I see a couple of avenues that can still be pursued at this stage. The first and perhaps lowest risk one is the paper. They have information they really shouldn't, and they have information that might just be false entirely, and nobody really seems to have a lot on them. If we can track them down, hopefully we can turn somebody and get some information. Might let us get the jump on more the next death, at least. Alternatively, we could do a little more thinking, figure out what the purpose of this ritual is, and get the jump on them that way. Definitely there's patterns here. Something plainer's going on. Nonsense to me. But that is one option. It's kind of what I was hoping everybody would talk about, given that it's outside my area of expertise.
Out of character, my objections as Nil are entirely a smokescreen. Because I know this is arcane and I'm supposed to be an air quote sorcerer, but I don't know anything about the arcane and anything really about magic except for the 3 little spells that I can cast. So,
It's a
since you're
pretty
not
effective
focusing
smokescreen.
on that, I'm very much trying to start out like we shouldn't even do this at all, and then have you win me over, which is not going my way.
It's all good. Well, while you guys are talking, if you want, could I get a perception rolls? If you want, you don't have to.
Yeah, you may have perception. Oh. Kasey will be returning.
I'm here, thankfully. I did actually switch to
Oh,
Discord on my phone.
oh,
So I
right.
had
good.
just the sound was being a little bit weird. I can hear better on this now.
Dang.
But yeah, the laptop just decided to crap out, so it's just restarting. So
All good.
there we go. I mean, given that I've got the observant feat, I'm guessing that if you want to roll for me the advantage roll or something while I'm restarting.
I rolled a 2.
I think my minimum roll is 8, so
I rolled a 5 the second time for the advantage.
I'll take the minimum of the 8.
Okay. So it's like I said, it's not a big deal. So let's see, Bren, Master, and Jimmy.
22.
22. Okay. And you. The 4 of you, distantly, you hear something large, slow-moving, possibly metallic, outside, moving. Like just a distant, like, clang, clang.
Look out the window for a bullet.
Which way are you looking?
The street on the front door.
Alright, so looking down at the street, you don't immediately see anything.
I look left and right as far as I can from the window.
You know what? To the right, as you look down, just almost right at the edge of where you can't see, you see a small entourage of very, very odd-looking creatures. Large, odd-looking creatures walking down the street.
Can I attempt to identify them?
I will give you a chance. It's going to be very slim.
That's fine.
I'm going to post some pictures in Discord here.
I'm looking too. The one of me that saw it, or noticed.
There's 2 pictures. There's 5 of these creatures.
Weird.
I know what they are.
Oh, these dudes.
So yeah, they're clanking down the street slowly.
Well, let's give Jimmy his chance. What shall I roll?
We'll try history. We'll go with history.
Wow, favorite Mario.
18. That's actually not bad. Master, you said you wanted to look as well?
I would like to attempt something. These
What?
don't look familiar to me as a player, but I don't know.
They're very unlikely they look familiar to your character, but there's a chance.
Yeah. History, you said?
Yeah, I guarantee none of you have ever seen one of these.
This is gonna be really bad. I can already tell. Oop.
Okay.
I knew it.
It's alright.
I
Like I
don't know what
said,
that is.
it's very unlikely you would. Jimmy barely made it.
Fits my backstory that I wouldn't know, cause like, yikes.
So Jimmy, you're immediately a little bit frozen. Okay. You know that these creatures are collectively referred to as the Inevitables. You don't know a lot about them, but the thing that chills your already chilly blood is the fact that one of them is what's called a Marut. And Maruts are famously tasked with hunting down people who cheat death and granting them the end that they have escaped. Now normally these are bigger targets, liches, the big dogs.
I'm just the guy, he's kind of like... There's a library fine, and he hasn't paid it in 20 years. It's just sitting there on his conscience.
Yeah, you're... Jimmy's like, well, I'm a little bit alive. But yeah, you recognize them as that. Now, aside from that, the thing that really sticks out is you can recall no instance in history that these 5 types of creatures, have been in the same place at the same time.
He's staring. He's staring.
Kind of get the sense they're staring back.
Why did I tell Zil there wouldn't be any surprises? Why did I say that?
Yeah, asking for trouble, I guess. What are those? Robobots?
That one, and that one. I'm a little foggier on. But that one is basically a very specific kind of debt collector.
So they're not Transformers. Good to know.
If you should die, and you don't, he takes personal offense.
Oh.
And this gentleman on the right in the first picture is the one he's pointing at.
Creepy.
Now, he doesn't have the sword, but he is pretty big. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out exactly how alive I am very soon. But all the other ones, they're enforcing their own stuff as far as I know, and they're not supposed to be here. Not all of them. Not all at the same time. All right.
Worrying times.
Jimmy is
Well,
visibly steeling himself and
That is
walking
not-
downstairs.
that is not good. I'll follow.
Downstairs we're going. All right.
I'm gonna pick Nil up on the way, I guess, or just
It's
kind of
fine.
gesture and, hey, come on.
It's fine. It's okay. I drop by the kitchen and peek in on Pohan.
Bohan's actually making his way to you.
You feel him?
Yeah, Jimmy. You know,
You think they're here for me or you?
I'm wondering if maybe you and I both should go down into the basement there and hide.
I'm not in a hiding mood anymore, honestly. I could say that I've seen worse. I'm not sure how true it is, and I won't until I open that door.
You do know what these are, right, Jimmy?
I know about one of them. You walk around like me, somebody's going to tell you eventually.
Yeah. Well, I'm by your side if you choose to stand.
I'm more of a negotiator than anything. If you want to make your way out the back, though, I think it might take them at least a few seconds to get through me.
Hello, guys.
Jimmy,
You want to cook?
that's how somebody gets old.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Is everybody else staying upstairs?
I will go down as well, because have I had interactions with them, considering who my patron is?
You would be familiar with the concept of them. You know that, like, if this turns violent, none of you have a chance. Like, period. This is over before it begins. One of these creatures. One of these creatures is tasked with defending gods when things try to kill them.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. So,
Jimmy doesn't know that one, and it's probably for the best.
yeah. So, you're at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You hear them slowly clank, 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 clank. And then you hear them passing. Clank, clank.
Not today. Okay, he's gonna crack open the door and look after him.
They're just steady walking. When you open the door, you see the Marut kind of turn and look over its shoulder at you with this big axe-shaped helmet.
As unwise as it might be, Jimmy is looking at him. He catches him out, and he doesn't look away.
He eventually turns and looks away from you. You get the feeling that he's going to remember you, but today's not the day.
Whew. That's a good sign, right, Pohan?
Well, I mean, for now, the fact that 5 of these things are together in Sigil makes my knees a little nervous.
Yeah, they don't usually do that.
No, something big's happening if this is happening. What if you stepped in, Jimmy?
Just larger mess after larger mess for years now.
Wow.
First the lady appears, and now them.
All right. Here's the
That's disconcerting.
Here's the real double-decker important question of the day. We're in the information business. Do we need to know where they're going?
I mean,
It would benefit us, but
could probably find out.
One,
I know we'll find out. And he opens the door.
All right. Jimmy, step out.
Jimmy stepping out.
Right. Anybody stepping out with Jimmy?
I will go
Yeah.
because I was downstairs.
6.
Yeah,
It's 7.
Yep.
stealthing. Both of me.
Did we go back upstairs and let them know, or did you just leave through the front door?
I figured that they were at least keeping an eye on things and just hadn't bothered moving any of the models.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to do that.
Forgot to do what?
To move.
Oh.
People.
Oh, I thought that was intentional. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah,
We can
only
have
one,
meeting outside today.
only one of me can watch from the second floor what's happening on the first.
Jimmy peeks back through. Hold down the fort, buddy.
I'll do my
Mr.
best.
Pohan.
I'll do my best.
Closes the door behind.
All right. So,
Can I catch that with my foot and then stealth behind him?
if you'd like, yeah. I assumed everyone was already outside. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
And they were never seen again.
Yeah, not fun.
So, yeah. You make your roll if you want.
Okay. With the hood, right?
Yeah, you get your advantage.
Advantage. +8. Is that the correct thing? Yes. Okay. On the right name here. Okay. Come on.
All right.
Hey.
There you go. Nice and stealthy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So is everyone, just so I'm clear, everyone is out following?
I think so.
Okay. Just so I'm no mistakes. All right, so you're following the inevitables down the road.
At some distance.
Okay.
I don't think they're going too fast, so.
No, it'll be an easy follow. I mean, the streets are parting like the Red Sea as they come walking. They have a certain air about them.
Are there any other nosy onlookers as foolish as we who are
There's-
following behind?
There's a couple here and there. Like you'll see somebody kind of peek out and walk a little bit, and then send like a message spell off real quick to their buddy. Be like, "Dude, you'll never believe what I just saw." So yeah, they appear to be making their way to the ladies' ward.
Quite a haul.
Yeah, I mean they're trucking along. They're in no real particular hurry. They don't appear to be talking amongst themselves or anything. Every now and then the Marut will cast a glance over its shoulder at you, Jimmy.
He's a little too afraid to wave, but he imagines they're here for something a little more important than him.
Possibly. Possibly. Like I said, now that the creatures themselves, for those of you who aren't familiar, I know I posted pictures in Discord for my team for copyright purposes. I didn't want to just post them up on the stream, so I'll go over these real quick, and maybe this will flesh out for some of you guys as well, the players. So the one in the middle here on the picture, since you guys do have the benefit of that, is the Kolirat. All right. It looks half finished in some places, exposed parts here and there, as a black head. Their back is exposed. The two glowing red eyes that look forward from the skull-like visage. Carries a sword, wears, fairly regal-looking robes, and walks with a certain air of confidence and authority, something that you can just feel. It is a mechanical creature of some sort. the Marut with the axe-shaped helmet, the huge armored creature just stomps, heavy frame, and massively strong-looking limbs. It looks like it could just pick you up and squeeze you like a lemon. Enormous mechanical creature. All of these are mechanical creatures, by the way. The Korut, which should be the second gentleman on the right there in the second picture. It looks like a warped marionette. Very slender frame, complex green gold plating. It moves with a weird sort of staggering grace as it propels itself down. Yeah.
That one's name again.
The Quarut.
Okay, I can't spell that. Alright, thanks.
Quarut. Quarut.
Okay.
Alright. And the other one in that same picture, the Verakut. That's a weird one. Its body is literally built out of elongated pyramid-like geometric shapes. So instead of legs, it terminates into that single geometric point. And its head is a flat disc on top of a slightly raised tube. So it just looks really weird, like foreign, uncomfortable almost. And then the last is the centaur-looking one with the whip chains for arms on his arms, the Zelikut. He looks like a golden porcelain skin, clockwork mechanical centaur with wings and long blade chains that hang down from his forearms. Zelikut.
Oh, okay.
Zelekut. Zelikut. So yes. No, you're right. You're all right. We're reaching into some weird lore here. I will say that, like I said, Jimmy, you picked out the Marut pretty quickly, just because you know its purpose, because it's a threat on some level to you in your existence.
Mm-hmm.
This is what would be sent after Vecna.
Whoa.
Singular, by the way. This is what would be sent after Vecna by himself. So that's what makes this crazy, that there are 5 of these creatures, and they all have different tasks and purposes. Only the 2 of you made your history rolls. I can tell you more if you want to try and dig in your brains. It's up to you. It's depending on what you want to do.
I'm satisfied with what Jimmy knows.
Okay. So you follow him completely, unless anyone else wants to do anything. Shoot an arrow, lightning bolt, fire, whatever.
No.
I would like to try to make a history roll. Don't worry.
Okay.
History roll.
Yeah, go for
History
it.
roll.
Go for it.
Cannot generate any flame with a history roll.
Likewise here.
Okay, that's fine.
And to be honest, I can't generate flame. Wait, yes I can. Never
Yeah.
mind. I was gonna say at the
Nice.
moment, but I'm
You
wrong.
can find a way.
I'm not drinking. All right, so the 2 of you, actually, I'm going to go through this really quickly. And basically, you know enough to know their general purposes, okay? And the fact that these are all from, that's as well you.
Oh, wow.
These are all from the realm of Mechanus, right? Where they're crafted in these creches, supposedly. These are some of the most well-guarded places in the entire multiverse. Nobody knows how they work, what goes on inside of them, who works inside of them. Nobody. Like, that information is not privy to anyone except the people in there and Primus himself, who rules Mechanus, if you're unfamiliar. But anyway, the Kolurut, okay, is a creature designed with the sole purpose of upholding oaths, both spoken and written, to the letter. They don't care about intent. They don't care about interpretation. If you sign an agreement and give it to the Kolurut to enforce, it will be enforced to the letter. Period. If not, they will track down the Oathbreaker and use whatever necessary method based upon the letter of the contract to force the creature to uphold its end of the bargain. They are scary. The Marut, once again, as I mentioned earlier, they generally track down anything that laughs in the face of life and death. Anything that seeks to unnaturally lengthen its life or escape the binds of death, the Maruts will be sent out to correct that mistake. The Quarut are tasked with delivering justice for those who meddle with time and relative dimensions in space. Anything that threatens the order of the natural existence of time and space and dimensionality will most likely be destroyed, unless you can fix the damage you've done.
That's why we hit Draken in the plane of fire.
So the Veracut, and the Veracut is the most rare of all of these, is the weird geometric looking one. The Veracuts are meant to uphold divine order. The Veracut is what stands between gods and their destruction, should something seek to destroy them. Also, a Veracut will be sent out if someone tries to achieve godhood in order to stop them. That's frowned upon. But should at the same time give you some estimate of the levels of power we're talking about here. And last but not least, the Zelicut, the centaur looking one, they're actually bounty hunters. They are sent to hunt down fugitives and either bring them in for punishment or carry out the death sentence themselves. So, yeah. Those are their purposes.
Okay. So, the Marut was looking at Jimmy.
Yes.
Should either of me be worried?
About what?
Well, I guess
Jimmy's safety,
the
I would
master would be
assume.
worried about the collier route because it upholds oaths, and we made an oath to the angler. Also, he can misty step, which is an alteration of space.
Well,
Technically.
no.
I don't know if that's
When I say an alteration of time and space, I'm talking about something that has a rippling effect throughout the multiverse. Somebody tries to create a dimension. Somebody tries to alter time in a permanent way. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about like a Misty Step or a Dimension Door. Because those, Misty Step and Dimension Door, you're not altering time and space. You're just traversing them in a different manner.
The Marut tracks those that cheat death. Nil just brought like 3 people back from the brink of death. Is that...
Resurrection is not cheating death.
Oh, good.
You will die when your time comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're talking about people
Alright.
who become a lich intentionally, for instance.
Yeah, because resurrection can't bring people back who died from old age. So
No. So yeah, no, nothing, like you haven't done anything accidentally that could anger one of these creatures yet.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
There are laws in the multiverse. These are the creatures that enforce them.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, as you guys are figuring this out and maybe discussing as you go, I don't know. They take their trek, like I said, they're heading to the ladies' ward. It's a good trek, especially at the pace that they're keeping. So, are you guys doing anything along the way?
I feel like we chat. The streets are pretty free right now, so it's not like we're crowded in with people.
Okay.
check.
Hmm.
All right.
I have a bad feeling that we're unnervingly close to the reason why these are here.
So right about this time, if you have your maps, which you should still have the sigil map,
Mhm.
you're coming into the ladies' ward. You're on Three Gate Boulevard, moving towards Glutton's Gorge, towards the court district. Just so you know where you're at.
Okay,
Hmm.
I don't know where this is going on.
Give you one more chance to do anything if you want to before.
Before we go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Anybody?
I'm just stealing
Shall we
my
make all of our
nerves and
stealth rolls?
trying to...
Everybody's so nervous, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna I'm gonna keep the master with the stealth roll I made earlier, and I'm gonna. I think Nil's just gonna try to fade into the background as much as possible. Like,
Okay.
Jimmy makes him one. 17.
Alright, so you guys are
Okay.
sneaking
gonna,
around.
Casey's gonna cast invisibility on himself.
Alright. Poof. So, once again, like I said, the streets are parting for these creatures, like the Red Sea. You guys make your way through. They actually come down to the large city court building, and they turn down into Razorvine and Hiddleton, and immediately turn into a large forge with a big sign over the said that says Trabans.
Okay. Maybe I'll use that one.
Wouldn't want to be him today.
So, yeah, they surround Trabans' forge,
Yeah.
facing outward.
Higher.
Facing outward, you say?
Hmm.
Huh.
That one was
hmm.
yeah, me too. What is there?
Come on. Huh. Can't find where I get to choose to toggle between advantage or disadvantage, etc. etc. Oh well.
It's all good. We can just roll twice if you need to.
Yeah.
Jimmy stops at a distance and observes them for a couple minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we made it.
So they stand more or less stark still. I mean, you'll see them shift or turn and watch creatures that walk by from inside. You don't really see any movement. The forges are burning. There's smoke coming out, but nobody's come outside.
How much would I know about Traban's forge and the family?
All right. Well, Traban has a bit of a reputation. Anybody that's a native would know that if you need any mundane forgeable goods, armor, weapons, that type of thing, that this is one of the best places to get them.
That's a lot of things. Yeah, me too.
Okay, because I saw on the map, like, the little blurb mentioned a very important place this side of blank. But I know anything related to that.
Well, tell me what you're thinking. You're your character. What are you thinking?
Well, I noticed that the little blurb on the map said that, you know, best weapon and armor is like this side of Arcadia, and if what I'm thinking that Trey be the victim of the murder next, it kind of Well, number one, it blows my whole alphabetical order theory of the planes right out of the water. Because Arborea would be next on Arcadia, but number two, yeah, this is where we might intercept the killer.
It's a very feasible potentiality. But I mean, it's a vague descriptor, kind of like saying the side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
You know, best, but I mean, I'll let your character put the association out there, sure.
I mean, she's not saying shit.
Yes.
For now.
That's all good. It's all good.
Guys, stop
Jimmy,
fighting.
though, after a few minutes' observation, does remark to the party. Lady turned up a little late. I get the feeling these guys are here early.
Yeah, I don't think I'm smart enough to figure this out.
Does anybody feel like they have a way to get an eye in that building without getting us all wiped off the face of existence?
Did you say an eye?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I think I might have a way to do that. Let me
Just to check, if somebody were to, say, smite that eye with the power sufficient to protect, you know, a god or to destroy a lich, would that hurt you?
Valid question.
Let me just find the
I mean,
section
I have a
pertaining
way of
to
getting an eye in there that,
trying to
yeah, it would hurt them, but I could get it back.
Okay. Wandering Eye says if you create a psychic sensor within 60 feet of you, it lasts until my concentration ends. It's invisible and hovers in the air.
Alright,
Um,
guys. So they will
as an action, I can move it 30 feet in any direction. There's no limit to how far away it can move, and it can't enter another plane of existence. Solid barriers block it, but it can pass through an opening as small as an inch.
What do I build it?
That
So
would work.
It's invisible, so it should work.
Okay.
Unless they have some sort of detection.
They have every sort of detection.
Yeah. I mean, if it's meant to fail, it's gonna fail.
Yeah. If any one of them does not have true sight, Jimmy will eat his hat, and he likes his hat.
Yeah, I could turn it into a phasing eye that can move through solid objects and just try to go directly from above through the roof.
Jimmy gives Nil a little rolling, by your leave sort of bow. Take a shot.
Yeah, actually can't do that yet. I don't know how to do it. It's gonna have to be a wandering eye because I can't do phasing yet.
All right. Well, are you gonna do it?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna send a sensor out
That's a
sort
good
of
idea.
in a tightening spiral pattern to try to go around the building to see if there's a way to get within it.
It's so fun.
There's lots of ways to get in it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a small gap and then just shoot it through real quick, just like an arrow, just
Jimmy stands so that he's actually between Nil and the building, and he says, main interest, is anybody in there alive? I hope so.
All right. So
If the metal men start eyeing you a little too hard, just back off. It's not worth it.
so
Okay.
Nil, you go into your concentration state. You send your eye out. You're obviously, I can sense it in your voice. You're a little nervous. You kind of
Yeah.
try to find the greatest gap away from them as possible to shoot your eye in. It goes in. Say you go above and down through one of the chimneys, trying to avoid getting close to them at all. Jimmy, you notice that the three of them that are visible are turned and staring directly at Nil. the Quarut, the Veracut, and the Coloriot. They're not moving. They're just watching.
Okay.
Her eye goes through down the chimney.
There, correction.
Yes, there. Sorry. My apologies. Their eye goes down through the chimney. It opens up into a large main forge room where most of the metal beating goes on. You see the anvil, you see the bellows, you see the forge. You also see splayed out on the floor what once was a dwarf. Something horrible has been done to this poor soul, but remarkably orderly. His body is splayed out in what almost appears to be a perfect rectangle.
Oh god, there was another one.
Well,
Yeah, no?
this is concerning.
Are you withdrawing your eye?
Not at the moment, no. I'm trying to, like, document what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Luckily, I have the keen mind feat, so I can, like, document everything that I'm seeing in my head and stuff like that. And the sensor can look in all directions, so it can get a panorama of the crime scene that I can describe in detail. All I really needed for them to do is just not detect it going in, because I don't have, all I have to do is just dispense concentration and it'll probably go away.
Okay.
It's an invisible sensor, I don't have to call it back.
So the Coloriot has broken away and is walking towards you guys.
Jimmy's tapping Nil on the shoulder saying it's time to go. It's time to
Alright,
go.
let's go. Let's go.
So are you running or?
Probably.
Are you? I need to. Oh, are you though? I need to know.
Yes.
Yeah, at a healthy pace, not quite running, but somewhat jogging. Because I think if this thing wants to catch up with us, it's going to. No matter where we go, it's going to catch up with us, you know. So I'm jogging away, like, at a pace that says I'm not going to be a problem, but I'm not, like, running to the point where you'd have to like, pursue me to get your point, you know? If you're going to catch me, you're going to catch me. I understand this is inevitable. Come on, let's...
No pun intended.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's not be
Inevitable.
ridiculous with this. You know, it's a very powerful being. It's very determined. I mean, where are we gonna go? Why are we running?
So everybody jogs in a non-confrontational way away. All right, so you lose him quickly as far as distance goes. You don't know if he stopped chasing or what. But yeah, I mean, you outdistance him, no problem. He doesn't make any special moves to catch you or anything.
Okay, good. Stop for a moment and ask Nil. Alright. Give us the deets. What you see?
I saw what used to be a dwarf. It's horrible yet orderly. The body was laid out in a perfect rectangle. I'm not even like talking at this point. I have my fingers like pointer and middle finger to each of my temples, and I'm just like eyes closed, sighing, but you hear me saying all this in your... Because I have telepathy and I can just use that.
Okay.
Yeah, Kasey doesn't hear anything.
So yeah, the description based upon your mental acuity was a large, flat, spread out remains of a dwarf. It looks like he was dissected and vivisected to the point where it would fit. It is largely laid out and flat, but there does appear to be peaks pushed up through the tissue. And once again, even that was in an orderly fashion. Like they actually made good rows and lines and were ordered pairs and triplets and quads, and made pleasing, orderly patterns across the plane of the body.
Lovely.
Gross. So, Jimmy, all this is just being like audio booked into your head.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
No.
It would seem we are too late for that one.
Yeah. I was really hoping it was the other way. He looks back. Is there still an inevitable pursuing us by chance that is caught up now that we've stopped?
No, not that you can see anyway.
Okay. This may be worse, actually. This may be substantially worse. Interests on the individual planes might be conducting this to get some foothold in the city. Because those are the big boys.
Yeah, I think if my character hadn't done anything that would cause me to be the target of them, maybe we could have talked to them. Is that such a crazy idea?
They're not known for being excellent conversationalists. Although I think they can talk at least.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but if they're
They're probably smarter than most of you.
bastions
Guaranteed.
of order and such, they're here for a reason, and maybe we have information that they don't have that could help them figure all this out on a higher level.
Every time.
I was not planning to speak to an inevitable today, but you've won me over.
I mean, it's worth an attempt, you know? You have to acknowledge that people, sometimes you're not the smartest person in the room, and I have very often been that person. So maybe handing the information that we do have to them would help.
Yeah. You said, yeah, I assume that the people who were familiar with all of them kind of told us about them as we came this way, right?
As long as they say they did.
Because if not, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Who was it that made those rolls?
Well, there was, 4 of you, I think, that made them.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone say directly that they did. So if you say they did, I will let that go.
I don't know. Let me check what I made.
I know Bryn wouldn't have said anything for reasons.
Yeah, reasons.
Simon knew, and Tember knew.
Simon, Tember, Jimmy, and the Master?
Jimmy rolled a little lower. He was only really familiar with the one.
That was the history, not the perception. Okay.
Yeah.
No, okay. Didn't make it. Maybe the people that were guarding, maybe the Autobots that were guarding the house could help with the case?
The Autobots.
It's probably what I would say if I don't know any of that.
That's fine.
One of them does oaths, right? Jimmy says this aloud. This is in character.
Collier's? But I don't know that. So I can't say it. Never mind.
We'll try that one. We are under contract.
Well, Wilhelm is muted. I don't know if he's... Timber, are you
Saying
with
stuff.
us?
Yeah, that's an important consideration.
No, I was being quiet,
Oh, okay, intentionally.
but
Alright.
I did forget I was on mute as well. Thank you.
No worries.
Good to know.
All good. All
Yeah.
good.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it's worth a shot. You know, I don't know what these guys are and what they do or anything. You know, I'm not the most informed person here, but
So you want to
I
go
might
back
just
and talk to him?
Share. I'll share the information of who they are,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
okay.
this is
Okay.
yes, I have.
So they uphold.
We'll try the
Laws,
Oathkeeper
right?
one. That seems fine.
If they uphold laws and justice, then you know this is the same thing as the Harmonium, essentially, just stepped up.
So you want to go talk to the
Yeah.
one that was chasing you?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had to
Would
regroup.
also-
Sorry.
I'd like to see if I can figure out what this ritual might be trying to do.
The killer's ritual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can make a roll for that as well.
Now, I'm curious because I
Investigation.
do have angelic lore right now. I get to. This is the one that gets me a special knowledge check. The description is local notable people, legendary items, or noteworthy places. You think it qualifies? The ritual?
Read the description again.
You make a special knowledge check with a bonus equal to your binder level to see if you know some relevant information about local notable people, legendary items, or noteworthy places.
These guys would constitute legendary. Almost legendary items. I mean, they are constructs technically.
Well, no, I meant the ritual. Like, is this ritual something I could? Yeah. Like,
Oh.
is the ritual an item, like a magic spell?
No, that probably wouldn't. Just because of the nature of what's actually going on here.
This is an original work.
Very.
Yeah. Can we start? Are we gonna go? Can we go?
Yeah, we're gonna go.
It's up to you.
Having
Yeah, I'm
suggested
using,
it, can't pass it up.
I'm using eye for detail, which allows me to use investigation to, get clues.
Okay. What are you trying to get clues about?
Anything to do with like the style of the murder and the fact that these inevitables have appeared in specific, like, because they're somebody's possibly breaking an oath, possibly also trying to kill maybe another god or becoming a god themselves, something like that. Seeing if I could figure out.
I'll say that you're on the right track to a point. What about the murders you're investigating could cause all 5 of these to come out at once?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, I
kind
mean,
of
you're on the right track. I don't know that you're going to pull much more out of that right now based upon what you've discovered and the fact that you're blocks away from the crime scene and them when you make these rolls.
Having seen the crime scene, I would, explain that,
And you do see
combination of all these.
you do see the pattern, and although she hasn't said it, well, was Bren privy to your telepathic communication?
I don't know if Bren's there.
Would she
She
have
is.
if she was? I mean, I'm just
No, I'm not broadcasting to everyone. I was talking to Jimmy.
okay. So just so I know. So Jimmy's the only one who knows the details of the crime scene besides Nil, then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
everyone could
now that I
reasonably
have-
infer that it is a crime scene instead of just a guy sitting at his forge nervously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that I have this information about what they are, a combination of something that would fall within all of their purview would be a bounty hunter that was breaking the divine order and the laws of time and space to cheat death and break an oath.
Potentially. I mean, what they do
What
isn't
about
there's a little more broadness to what they do, but yeah, I mean, you're like I said, you're on the right track.
a resurrection of a dead god?
Once again, that's potential.
Interesting.
All this is speculation, though.
If it was
I'm just gonna
the
let you know, like anything you throw at me right now, I'm gonna say
He's gonna say, "Yeah, maybe."
possible, could be.
no, I was speaking to the group,
Okay,
not to
okay.
you.
Just
But I
making
know
sure.
you won't give me an answer.
It's a poor place to do it. I mean, there's one, supposedly. But they don't tend to do so well here.
What if it's the one that prayed us before the lady, and that's why the lady showed up?
Preceded, yeah.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
I was having trouble saying it. I appreciate you helping me.
Sorry if that was overstepping.
No, I'm being serious. Thank you. I was trying to say the word, I failed, so I
It's all
jumped to a
good.
different one. Thank you. Yeah, what if that's why also it was at the temple? We were at the former temple to the god. What if that's the reason? Is because someone's trying to bring it back?
This feels a little wider ranging. You know, we've had a few different planes already. This is just one more.
Yeah.
This feels a little bigger than just one god. God, that hurts to say so bad. It feels a little bigger than resurrecting a god.
In any
Yeah.
case, we should share our information because we seem to have the same goal.
Well, my problem is, as we walk right back up to these constructs, guy's already dead. They know that. We know that those bodies tend to go off explosively. And they're facing
Why are
out.
they there?
I'm a little
Facing
worried
outward.
they want that to happen.
I doubt it.
Why?
Maybe we should ask.
Yeah,
Says the
communication
invisible
is
guy
key.
next to
We are going to ask. We are going to ask very politely.
So you make your way back to the
Yeah.
forge. All right, they're still standing out there, facing out. The ones that are visible to you turn the moment you round the corner, and just kind of look at you.
I look at Collier and wave.
Specifically, this is such a terrible idea, and I love it. Jimmy
Hi.
will approach the Collier up.
The color it. All right. Cool.
They're
I'm
talkative.
behind
It's
him.
fine.
Like, I'm behind him, like, yeah, mega nervous, but hi.
So you walk up to the color he's big. Like he's towering over you. He kind of looks down at you as you walk up. His eyes burning in that strange mechanic skull. He says,
Other me is hanging back. Sorry.
"Is this just Jimmy?"
No, it's Nil's going with Jimmy. The master is hanging way back, farther back.
Way back.
Yeah.
Got some broken oaths in your past there, Master?
You know, was that in character or out?
No, Jimmy would not ask that. He's not putting you at risk for that. That's just silly.
Out of character, I don't know.
All right, but so Jimmy and Nil are up there. Anybody else tagging along real close?
Yeah. Kasey.
All right.
I will as well.
And Tember. Okay.
You've got an invisible friend behind you, so yeah.
And Bren. Okay. So, really, it's almost everyone then.
The master's like watching behind them and looking the other way to see if anything comes up behind us,
Wisely.
and then looking back at the five there and watching their mannerisms and making sure like nothing's gonna go down.
All right.
He's super nervous.
So he leans down a little and He says, took you some time to come back.
Well, we
Yeah.
get a little nervous, you know.
Yeah.
There are powers around here often enough, but rarely so much congregated around a single building.
Spooked. We were spooked. We had to regroup.
But we have come back. Welcome to our fair city.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less fair lately.
You play some role in this.
I am, in fact, under contract, and I believe in that building is the object of my contract. So I must at least come here to inquire.
Do you have this contract available?
Jimmy actually does have his writ from the harmonium.
Do you hand it to him?
I will show him.
He unrolls it.
I nod along with Jimmy.
And immediately you see him kind of pulse for a second as he reads it and hands it back to you. He says, you will be held to the letter of this contract, Jimmy Callons.
I have always tried to abide by them whenever I've agreed. I'm not gonna lie, that's why I came to talk to you. I figured we'd get along a little better.
And you have something to offer.
To offer the likes of you? I don't know.
Maybe some information. Maybe. I don't.
I'm not sure how much there is we could tell you that probably don't know. Do you mind if I ask a question first?
You may.
Are you here to stop anybody interfering with that body? Is that your purpose?
My purpose here
Yes.
is to hold the terms of a contractual agreement between two parties.
I see. Might my contract be somewhat opposed to their agreement?
No.
Wonderful.
Which two parties?
Wonderful.
I'm afraid the identities of these parties are sacrosanct and may not be shared.
Confidentiality is my business as well.
I assume you desire to see the victim.
If, by chance, you and your companions would not be opposed, it would allow us to fulfill my terms much more easily.
For the time being, Jimmy Callons, we do not stand in opposition. You may pass.
Mighty kind
Why,
of you.
I have a question.
The floor is yours.
Why are all 5 of you here?
We each have our own obligations. This one particular time, they happen to be aligned.
Would you be offended if we attempted to share information with you?
I find no offense in your attempt to help.
Looks at Jimmy.
All right.
Maybe we could share information about the previous events?
Fair warning. We've seen a handful of these before. Are you aware they tend to be mildly explosive?
I am aware.
Just wanted to make sure. Obviously, we're more in the looking business than the touching business. But were we to reposition the body, say, would this run afoul of your purpose here?
It would not.
And if we were to dispel any magical effects upon it?
I am not here to preserve this scene.
Oh. Well, I'm not going to be so uncouth as to ask why you are here. I think you've made yourself clear on that.
Is one of the others here to stop anyone from
I can't.
adjusting the scene? He might not be here to stop us, but one of the others might.
I cannot speak for the others.
Yeah.
However, if they desire to stop you, they will.
No
I
doubt.
wanna
have no
take a
doubts
second
about that.
I want to take some time to talk to the other four and see why they're here and if they're okay with it, and socialize because they're not
Who is doing
armed
this?
to the teeth.
Nil?
Yes,
Okay.
if I can, if they're okay with it, I'm like, hi.
I'm gonna say
We're
that
here.
I'm gonna say that Nil is very intelligent.
Yeah.
You are poking a stick at a dog through a fence when you mess with these a little bit. Like you're to some of these creatures you may well be a mosquito in their ear and they're just gonna swat you away.
Oh.
Like they're not evil, but they're not necessarily good. They're law. They are lawful stupid.
We specifically spoke to the talkative one.
Yes, you actually did.
Oh, okay.
And
And
now
the one that
I'm not
would have any sympathy for our purpose here.
I'm not going to stop you if you want to do that. And I'm not saying it's going to go horrible, but for a couple of these, you're going to have to make some dice rolls. It's up to you.
Easier to beg forgiveness than to ask permission.
Okay.
Or easier to be vaporized than ask permission,
Well,
in this case.
This is true.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe a general, we're not here to mess up your stuff, and we just have a thing we have to be here.
Is anyone
Sorry,
moving towards the interior of the building?
Yeah, Jimmy's already walking in.
I will say nobody is moving to stop you. The Marut watches Jimmy over his shoulder still, but doesn't make any moves towards him.
Jimmy feels a
Friendly
mild
waves.
chill.
Friendly waves, pala nerves. Friendly waves, pala
All right.
nerves.
As we get
I'm
into the
gonna-
building, Jimmy says to the assembled throng, he's waved at Master, by the way, if Master's going to come in.
Hmm. Okay.
It's Master.
Yeah, I see you. Okay. Just walking like I'm headed to the gallows. Not quite making eye contact. Careful footing, trying to move as quietly as possible. And if I can, stealth into the building. Just sliding along the wall, okay. Okay.
The idea of actually beating one of these things perception rolls is amusing.
Well, my head's up so they'd have disadvantage, but I'm RPing it really. Not
So,
in any other way.
Master, as you're trying to kind of don't look at me, sneak in, you see the creature that they were talking to, the Kalyurut. It's almost like he watches somebody walk in front of you and then turn to look at you.
Do I see any person?
No.
Can I try to see the person?
I mean, I guess you can try, yeah. What person?
Can I independently develop true sight?
Okay, hang on. What you said was he seems to watch someone walk in front of me.
Yeah, it's like he looks down at something that's not there and his eyes follow a motion as if somebody is walking past him, but you see nobody there.
I can see him. I can see his eyes. I can see where his eyes are going.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
Can I poke the air that's right there. Just with my finger. Just
You're
poke.
gonna like run full tilt to get up there? You're still making your way from across the street.
Okay, so you mean like a few meters away from me,
Oh,
not
yeah.
like directly.
Not right next to you, no.
Okay.
If you
I
want to
guess.
make a like full tilt run towards this thing to try and poke the air
No,
in front of it,
I want to make an active attempt to perceive whatever's there.
Okay.
I would like to actively attempt. I
Let's-
might not succeed at it, and
No,
that's
no, go
probably
ahead.
going to be a high save.
Go
But I
ahead.
would very much.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Go ahead. Make your roll.
Okay, here it comes. This is gonna be really bad. It's a +9. I'm gonna need every bit of it. All right, here we go. Here we go. F's in chat. Just go ahead and put them in. Just go ahead.
All this work.
Nope.
All this work, and the dice will never give you anything.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it.
There's nothing there. Maybe it's
Physically painful.
maybe an insect flew past, or
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like a specter or
Okay.
something walked past him. There's nothing there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Not like it's a changeling or anything. Eye roll.
Don't worry
Changeling.
about it.
Let's get back to the don't look at me, don't look at me. 'Cause I'm
Changelings
not
aren't
running
invisible.
full tilt with this building. That would be conspicuous.
All right. So you're welcome to try and make your stealth roll if you want.
Okay. I think I used my good roll for that one.
I mean, he's looking right at you.
I don't really need it to actually be stealth.
Okay.
I
So
could
we'll just say
probably
you
even-
try your best.
Yeah, let's just I do want to try though. I do want to give it an intent, but this is me just totally RPing this. It's not really gonna.
An
I
attempt
don't
was
think I'm gonna
made.
do well at it. yeah.
We'll
Essentially,
go.
that's
Well,
all I'm doing.
let's see those dice rolls.
This is gonna be physically painful.
I hope you roll a 1 and trip a bit.
Oh my god!
Now you get your nat 20.
Oh
So
my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Now that's on loan, remember. We gotta
Oh
take
my
that back on your next roll.
so
Oh my goodness!
he's staring right at you. You put your hood up and kind of go, "Don't see me, don't see me, don't see me," and you see him just kind of turn and look away as you walk
We
by.
went from a 3 to a nat 20.
So yes, you make your way inside. You're all in the forge now.
How? Ah!
You're in the forge.
Perfect stealth, just blending in.
So, splayed out before you, as I said before, is the remains of a dwarf. I've already given a slight description out loud, which you guys will see. He's cut wide open, vivisected, spread out. It looks like his harder tissue has been used to create what, based upon what you guys know already from the previous scenes, you're expecting this is a recreation of a planar topography, I assume. You guys are smart.
We're picking up on it at this point.
You see what appears to be just weirdly organized hills and mountain ranges in the topography. And of course, as usual, where its head is, or was, is a memur. And it's just saying, all things are in order. 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 Very softly.
Jimmy says, "All right, I'm gonna try a shortcut. Let's see." He kneels down towards the memur.
Okay.
Tell me about your plane.
All things are in order. All things are in order. For just a
Oh.
moment, his eyes snap to you. The little glowing blue specks where his eyeballs should be in the sockets snap to you. And only you hear, "You're gonna die, Jimmy. All things are in order. All things are in order. All things are in order."
I would say it never gets old, but he reaches down and he takes the Mimir.
Okay. Do you bundle it up and put it away?
Yeah, he just started carrying sheets around.
You're gonna have quite a
Just in
collection by
case.
the end of this. Start a choir.
All right. Anybody got any guesses for this one? Because we really should dispel it after a minute.
It's an interesting concept. I wonder what would happen if we got the three of them together.
We'll find out soon. The other two are on the shelf at home.
Well, you need 4 to get a proper quartet.
Well,
Hmm.
order, the fact that the inevitables are, here, I would imagine that this represents Mechanus. I imagine.
That's a good clueless guess.
Yeah. Jimmy scratches his head. I thought that one had gears.
Isn't there someone else we could be asking?
He's
Can I
asking-
try to determine what it is?
You're more than welcome to, yes.
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like there's someone,
Arcana.
and I don't know who, that
Oh.
we could.
It's a good roll. Good roll.
Ask about this?
So, Simon, I'll let Tember get his roll in there real quick. Okay, very good, very good. Based upon the layout, the two of you can determine that the layout that you're looking at it looks to be Abellio, which is the first and most known layer of Arcadia. Yeah, if you had to guess, this actually looks like a very accurate topography of Arcadia's first level.
But why?
Can I try to do that too?
Do what?
Tell what it is?
Of course.
It's gonna be bad. I mean, I probably don't know anything about this. I mean, I don't know.
Go
I'll
ahead,
give it
make
a
your
shot.
roll.
Yep, there it is.
I told you we were going to have to take back that nat 20 on the next roll.
Yep.
Yeah, you're looking at this going, what?
And you were correct, my good man. Yeah.
That's not a
I
place.
looked at it from above, and then I'm looking at it now, and I'm just like, this is weird.
It's not a
Is
place.
that a wrinkle? What is that?
Timber and Kasey, do you make your comments aloud?
Well, you definitely heard him say, but why?
Mm. Mm.
I reveal it, yeah.
All right. It's one of the nicer ones, right?
Nicest what?
Nicer. I'm not sure any of them are really all they're cracked up to be, but that one at least isn't, like, it's not literally hell.
What? I don't remember anything. What are we talking about?
It's not a place, it's a dead dwarf.
Yeah, what do you mean?
All of them have their different threats. Some are just more hidden than others.
You know,
Yeah. I'm a
I don't
little
know what
tempted to
this
see what
is.
happens. But on the other hand, I'm not at all.
So, Nil, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself real quick here.
Thank you.
Just give me a base intelligence check, please.
Oh, yes! Base intelligence. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I have those numbers.
I have those numbers. Let's go.
There.
Eh, pretty good.
So, based upon your keen aptitude for memory, even though you don't see what they're talking about, you're smart enough to recognize the fact that that's probably because you're just not seeing it. That being said, you're also smart enough to remember that all of the other places had a mark signified on a specific location.
Yes, where the Mimir's head was.
Where the gate town was. Each one of them had a gate town plugged somewhere. And I say that because nobody's mentioned it yet, so I'm giving you your chance to redeem your intellect.
Fair. So I looked for the gate town within the
Alright.
map of the
Get investigation roll, please.
investigation. Let's do it. Okay, normal. Yep.
I mean, if you say out loud what you're doing, I can always give you an assist.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying it out loud because I don't know. You know.
Are you assisting then?
Yeah.
Okay. Gather my thoughts. Clear my throat. Okay, we can do this.
Alright. This is the assist roll.
Okay. Alright, here we go.
Alright.
Ooh, that's better.
Alright. So, I'll say that there's a part that stands out significantly from the rest. Because it's in the shape of an egg with the little skull in it that you've seen in the other places. Right about the border of where this thing would touch the outlands there. You can point it out if you want. I'm not sure you would know the name of it, but it's there.
Okay. Jimmy, that.
He looks over.
You'll see it.
Well, good eye. Good eye.
Nice.
Jimmy also not being too up on the plains. Would he know offhand the name of the gate town?
I'll let you make your roll too if you want. We'll do
Yeah, sure.
an Arcana roll for this one. Unless one of the locals wants to put it out there. No, not
No.
drawing the connection.
Which is fine. He doesn't honestly expect to at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, one of the locals would probably know it, but
Jimmy looks up at Tember, who has recently become their resident plains expert.
Let's see how much I can get out. See if I know. Shit.
well, you have a much easier time figuring this out.
All right, then I'll tell him.
It's the town of Fortitude. Fortitude is the name of it. Fortitude is not a terrible place. It's not the friendliest place if you're not from there, though.
I've traveled there, but it's been a long, long time ago.
Is it all right? Because we managed to put off visiting Plaguemort, but this Fortitude place is a little friendlier. Maybe it's worth the trip.
Yeah, you guys haven't gotten any of the gate towns yet.
Yes, Plaguemort was. It's not a fun experience. Um, that one, like I said, it's been a long time. It's better.
So, right about this time, the Collieret enters the forge. Quietly. And more of an announcement than directed at anyone. He says, "Your time here is at a close. I must ask that you depart from these premises immediately."
Wish we'd been a little faster about that dispel. Time to go, people.
He stands aside and lets you exit.
Alright.
As I'm passing him, I'll try a question.
Okay.
I'll say, what is the purpose of these rituals and arranging them to look like that?
At this time, that is unknown.
Okay.
I
Worth a
want to
try.
ask. I also would like to ask a question.
Okay.
I'm going out.
You obviously
Oh,
keep
the-
oaths. What oath are you keeping here?
I'm afraid that information is very private.
Okay. And I leave.
Okay. And Jimmy, as you're exiting,
Yeah.
the Marut steps in front of you and looks down at you. And you hear him just kind of snort under that helmet.
He looks up. I was a little worried about that.
Yeah, he stares at you for a second. You can feel him kind of boring into you with his eyes.
Jimmy just says, "Come on. Barely 40. Just got knocked a little loose is all."
He steps aside.
Didn't expect that to work. Jimmy strides on.
All right.
Just go.
Just go. Leave him alone.
As soon as that announcement is made, the master is like slinking towards the door. Don't see me, don't see me, don't
I'm
see
not
me.
here.
He gets out the door faster than anybody else, and Nil's just like walking along like a normal person, like, bye guys, bye.
So, I assume everyone leaves?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not hanging around there.
Alright. So, where are you heading from here?
Yeah.
What time of day is it by now?
Well, we'll say it's about midday. About peak.
Yeah, picking up the lingo.
Okay. Once we've achieved a small distance, Jimmy asks the party at large, "Do we really... Should we stick around and see?"
See what?
If it's like the last one, that's going to go off not too long from now.
Didn't we dispel both the last two?
Do I look like someone who knows Dispel? I was asking you, and you didn't.
What do you mean?
Timber's not here to defend himself. He put a BRB in the chat.
Oh. So,
But no, we didn't dispel that before we left. Jimmy asked.
that's funny.
I mean, for some reason, I don't think what I can do would cover it.
Jimmy would believe that it would, though, because he's watched you unbind a magical item.
How far away are you? Are you in sight?
Yeah, we're still inside of the building.
Yeah.
Maybe a block or two.
All right. Are you watching the building? Or are you distracted?
Jimmy is watching the building while he's asking the party if they want to stick around to watch the fireworks and see
I know the master's definitely watching the building.
how the
Just out of
inevitables
nervousness.
respond.
So you see the collier exit the building, holding the remains of the dwarf in one hand like a blanket. He looks up at the others and they gather around and they each put a hand out and basically like clasp hands, and then you feel a shift and they're gone.
The body with them.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Well, it's not bad.
It's very quiet out here right now. Very quiet.
Ah,
Interesting.
I don't know when exactly the higher powers started covering our asses, but it's a remarkable improvement. The first time we had to do it ourselves. There's daylight left, and this is turning serious. Every second. We don't have too many leads left. We're pursuing what we have. We're going after the paper.
Yeah. And I believe my little friend has been following the people who deliver that. Probably the little mimirs or whatever. No, not mimirs, the Modrons.
Yes.
So I will,
So ironically,
I'll close my eyes for a second and see through her eyes and see if she's still following whoever delivered them, if there was anyone who delivered them.
how strong is your connection? Is it only really active when you sync up like a standard familiar?
Okay, so I've got Voice of the Chainmaster as an invocation. I can communicate telepathically with my familiar, perceive through its senses, and speak through it in my own voice, as long as I'm on the same plane of existence.
I know, but it's an active ability. It's not just passively always on, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
so basically I would have to close my own eyes and then look through
Okay.
Hicks's.
No, that's what I was wondering. So as you do that, you see Hicks kind of cornered in the upper corner of a building on top of a bookshelf with a weird-looking, odd-colored Modron kind of jumping up at it, flapping its wings and trying to catch it. You get the sense that he's actually fairly terrified.
Well, okay, so can Hicks do? Actually, I think, if I remember right, I think she has a little tiny bow that she could fire sleep arrows out of.
I'm not sure how well that's going to do against this thing. We'll say that she's already tried.
Yeah.
You've been introduced to Elim, haven't you? Did you meet Elim last
Possibly,
session?
yes. Yeah, I think so.
It's
We didn't catch him, did we? We just knew he was following.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think Kasey was one of the ones that saw him.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that's the case and I'm correct, then you recognize this as Elim. Elim has your friend cornered and is trying to catch it for some reason. It's probably not a good one.
No.
Okay. Great. Alright, well, I can... I believe. Let's have a look. Find familiar. I think I can unsummon her so she'll disappear and reappear.
Resummon it.
Yeah, resummon her next to me kind of thing.
No, I'll let that go. If you have the slots available for right now to do that, or I don't think you've used
I
any,
have
so
one.
I imagine you do.
I used one slot, so I've got one more.
Yeah. No worries. Go for it. You bring her back.
Yeah, I'll bring her back, and then I'll ask her what she witnessed.
Okay. Well, she followed a Modron into a large warehouse out in the hive, and the moment she went in, it was like they all turned around and knew exactly where she was, and immediately started chasing her, and the weird one, kept saying it wanted to create with me and tried to catch me. Weirdest thing ever.
All right, so Elim is Pepe Le Pew in Modron form. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, sad but true. Sad but true.
All right.
While all this, sorry, I was
Well,
literally.
she knows where the warehouse is, though, so that's a good thing. So we've got a place we can go to.
Yeah. While all this is going on, Chris is just like hanging out on the master's shoulder, saying something in a very quiet tone of voice that makes the master roll his eyes repeatedly. Like, that's not even funny. That's not even funny.
Wait, is that your snake?
It's not even a real joke.
Yeah, the snake.
He's like, I had a joke about construction, but I had to work on it.
Oh no.
The snake can talk?
Oh, yeah.
My boss told me to attach 2 pieces of plywood together, and I think I nailed it.
Oh no.
Just dad joke after
Dad
dad
joke.
joke. Just this annoying little serpentine voice. Just... You get it?
Parcel tongue humor. So, do you want to try and go to the warehouse, or do you guys want to recoup back at HQ before you attempt that?
So, yeah,
Recoup
I'll-
what? Let's hit it.
Okay.
Time's a wasting.
Yeah.
So, the warehouse. You guys start making your way there. Pull up my map here. My map. Is in. Close that out. Is in. Hang on, I have this marked.
Hey, I know a concert that only costs 45 cents.
It's not far from here, just so you know.
No.
We're gonna have.
The worst dad jokes ever. Just
We're gonna have to think that one over.
why do melons have weddings? Because they can't count.
It's
They
50
can't elope.
Cent with Nickelback.
Yes, it is. It is.
I already knew where that was going. I'm intentionally
Yep.
trying not to
Yep.
go there.
Location.
So, right, basically across the square from the courthouse, here in the ward, from the city court, is a road called Advocates Row. There's a place called Penbrum's Parchments and Papers Warehouse there.
Okay.
You'll see it. That's where the poor little bugger was holed up. You headed there?
Sure.
All right. It's a short jaunt. It doesn't take you long to get there. Obviously, you can see the prison from where you're at. That's always an imposing sight. Not fun. You arrive at the warehouse. It's a tidy little building. It's nothing too crazy. It looks desolate from the outside. You don't see any lights inside or movement.
How'd your little friend track back here, Kasey?
By following.
Didn't see too much before they got chased up into that corner.
Just followed the Modron.
Just followed the Modron inside, I guess.
Alright.
And apparently they could all see her perfectly fine, so either they've got some kind of alarm spell that and true sight or something, see invisibility. Not too sure.
So I assume you're standing at the door.
Yeah, is there an obvious front office, or is it just big old warehouse doors, people move in and out?
There's the big warehouse doors that appear to be barred and chained shut, and then there's the central office door that you're standing in front of right now, which is actually slightly ajar. It's still a door, but it's still ajar.
Yes.
I invented a new word today, plagiarism.
Nice.
No. I'm not gonna make it.
You know, the plants outside remind me of an herb garden I had as a child. Good times.
Oh, no.
No.
I mean, we technically can't hear any of this. That's Chris to Master exclusively.
I roll.
So, somebody in chat earlier, Davis Room, came in and said, salve, salve, and I didn't realize he saw the future and knew that we were going to need one for all these burns. So, yes, you're standing at the door.
We're standing at the door.
Yeah.
The only real decision to make before this is take the side entrance and don't tell nobody, or go in the front and see if they're talkative.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody's so timid.
Yeah, wonder why.
I ain't killed nobody yet.
Nah, the powers are just on the march is all.
Yeah.
It's just a warehouse.
Sure.
Jimmy's a talker. A lot of the party are talkers. We'll try the office.
Right, so you push the door open and go in?
Sure.
All right, rolling it. No, I'm just kidding.
I was prepared.
So, the door creaks open. The room inside is completely bare except for an empty bookshelf up on the wall. Kasey, you recognize this as the place where your poor friend was cornered. The room is completely empty. There's actually a thin layer of dust, undisturbed, all over. The only thing in the room, illuminated as the light splashes across the floor from outside, is a single issue of the Daily Chant. It has tomorrow's date on it.
Interesting.
Gather round. Let's see what the future holds.
Would you like me to just share this with everyone?
Sure.
Whoa, hey. It's getting kind of crazy. Boom. There you go.
Really?
Let me pull this up so everyone can see.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yep, Bryn is shaking her head invisibly.
Maybe it's a good thing nobody's ever heard of this damn rag.
Wow.
Scan this, Burke.
Yeah, it's been scanned. The master looks over at the snake on his arm and tells him to shush. This is a serious investigation and you're making it work. Would you please close your tiny face? Oh, sorry if I'm a little talkative. I'm on this new diet. I don't want to hear about the... It's an almond diet. I don't want you to finish that... It's absolutely nuts! Shh!
Oh no.
Just take 2 fingers and physically close his face. Stop!
I have to ask, is there like a book or a website you're reading these off of, or are you just doing these off the top of your head?
I just like thinking of the worst puns. And at first it was just like stuff that I'd heard from the ending of a series that I've been watching on like Valheim tips and tricks. So they end the series like how to builds with dad jokes, and I just took some of those from there. At first. And then the rest, some of these. Now I'm into the Google stuff.
So yeah, I mean, obviously everything about this is completely accurate.
Faultless.
One person knew
Incredible.
that to begin with.
Yeah.
Incredible reporting. Jimmy looks around the office, goes back, and he just gently nudges the door out to the street closed.
All right.
Are there doors further in?
There is. There appears to be a door that opens up into the main storage warehouse, at least one of them.
Okay. Everyone, we are officially making a mess.
Alright, your turn.
You gonna toss the place?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's nothing in here. We're going through the door.
I
Just
feel like Jimmy's agitated. Is Jimmy agitated?
Jimmy's mildly agitated.
This might be
It's
one of the
thing
first.
to threaten his life.
I was gonna say this is like one of the first times I think Jimmy's ever been agitated.
Well, now it's striking a little closer to home. You know, an ageless construct from the realm of law might decide that he's lived a little too long and revoke his being alive privileges. That's one thing. This is a threat to the agency. This is a threat to the agency's good name.
Fair
Yeah.
point.
Jimmy's a little agitated. He checks the door. Is it locked?
Is
it trapped?
It is not locked.
Is it trapped?
It doesn't look like it's trapped. You're welcome to search it.
He will. He will.
That's up
think
there
the
with, I
master
listened
will
to the
help you.
door.
The master's like looking over at you and like, yeah, I'll help.
That's fine. You can have an assisted roll.
Sure, there you go. 2 13s. I'm really good at that.
Nice.
The odds.
He's got that 1 in 400 luck.
So, yeah, no, it doesn't appear to be trapped. It's fine.
Going through.
Push it open. Inside, the entire warehouse is filled with stacks of newspaper.
Whoa.
He picks up a close one and has a look at it. More
Same.
Daily Chant?
Same issue.
All right. He's strolling through, looking every once in a while at the top of the stack.
They all appear to be the same issue.
It's just a shame if something were to happen to all of these.
Yeah. Would be, wouldn't it?
What's the
Damn
dimensions of the
fish.
space these stacks take up?
Sorry, say again?
What are the dimensions of the space that these stacks take up?
It's about an 80-foot by 80-foot room, probably about 60-foot ceilings. they're stacked pretty high.
Interesting.
You are the winning. Hey.
Walking the perimeter, is there anything here besides stacks of this paper?
You walking along the sides?
Yeah, he'll walk the walls, keeping an eye down in between the stacks for anything that stands out.
They're very orderly. I'll say that. They're in rows,
Modrons.
neatly stacked. Yeah. You assume.
Mhm.
Are they laid out in a pattern of any kind, or just row by row?
It's hard to say based upon the size of the room. Nothing jumps out immediately. But, I mean, it's an 80 by 80 foot room. These things are stacked 15, 20 feet high.
Is there anything, because I'm going to be looking too, is there anything akin to a desk with, like, drawers or, like, anything? Basically any sort of storage compartments that can be looked inside?
Not in this room, no.
Are there other rooms besides the front room?
There is a second storage warehouse.
Jimmy, when you said that it would, I don't know if that was Jimmy. Was that Jimmy that said it would be a shame if something happened to these?
That was Kasey.
That was
It was
Kasey.
Casey, and then Jimmy
Okay.
said, yeah, it would be.
Jimmy agreed.
Okay. So just let me know, and say when.
We gotta turn the place first.
I understand that, but say when.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
I'm slipping into the second warehouse to see what's in there.
okay. You opening the door?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Give me a stealth
Keep in
roll.
mind, the party has passive perceptions ranging from 16 to, what's Casey,
24.
Yeah. Give me
24.
give me a stealth roll to see if anyone hears the door open. This could be interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody's here.
It'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I do things.
I saw that.
So-
I saw that.
I saw that.
Well, it's
I saw that.
just
I saw that.
just so we're clear. Anybody whose passive perception is 18 or higher heard that.
That's fair. I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
You guys heard a door open from the far side of the room.
All right. Begin moving towards it immediately. That's what
Ooh.
you do.
Yeah.
So I actually can tell that it's a hidden creature. For eye for
Somebody
detail.
Somebody was walking.
Well, like I said, you didn't
In front
see
of us.
anything. You heard it. I don't know if eye for detail would play into that.
I'm gonna have a little looky-loo over there and see what. Probably unsuccessfully, but still.
Well, it's just an open door. Nobody was in the immediate area.
Oh. Rats foiled again.
What's in the second warehouse, though?
Why I oughta.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you want to make
Oh,
a
yeah.
second perception check to see if you see it, whether or not a creature has passed through here recently, you can. Okay, yeah. You definitely see footprints in the dust going into the room. As far as what's in there, Bren,
Okay.
in this room is an enormous fixed type printing press.
Anything else?
Various waste paper lines the walls. Stacks of ink and rollers here and there. This room is not neat and tidy. It's got rubbish here and there. There's a little bit of food waste here and there.
Okay, because I have a
Ooh.
theory, and I want to see if there's anything pertaining to future issues of the Daily Chant beyond the 10th of Regulus.
Okay, where are you looking specifically?
Let's look at the waste paper lighting the walls.
Okay. The waste paper, at first glance, from what you can tell for just a quick search, I assume you're not just digging through, you're just looking.
Yeah, just looking.
So from just glancing, mostly what you're seeing is typos, initial print copies, misprints, that type of thing. You don't see anything like what you're looking for with other dates.
No list, no anything?
Not right offhand, no.
Jeez.
You
So
do
looking at the foot.
Okay, I was gonna say you
Looking
do
at
hear
the
the other
footprint,
party
yeah.
coming. Okay, you're looking at the footprints.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow the footprints, but I will say it aloud. Well, you may as well make yourself known. I have pretty good ears and eyes, and I know you're here near somewhere.
Okay.
I just don't even do anything. I'm still invisible and.
Yeah, I'm totally following the footprints right up to the point where they stop.
All right.
This
All right. Well,
seems much little.
so now we're going from perception to tracking.
That is probably true.
So that's going to be a survival check.
This is a less good roll. But it's still pretty good.
Yep, things worked out for you.
That is still pretty good. So yeah, Brent, he's slowly making his way toward you. You can tell he's following your footprints.
Just standing there watching him.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything as this is unfolding?
Looking around the room generally.
If the master can
See the huge printing press, etc.
If the master can see that Kasey is tracking something, he's gonna go over and watch with a handful of the papers with him.
Okay. So you're watching. And Jimmy, you said you're looking at the printing press specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell you what, give real quick as he's following the trail and Master's watching. Jimmy, give me an investigation check as you look at the printing press.
Love to. There you are.
All right.
Noise.
It looks like somebody's tried to disassemble the fixed type really hurriedly. But
Interesting.
they left something behind. You could
What might
probably,
that be?
if you get a closer look, you're gonna have to climb up on it.
Jimmy will.
Okay, so you climb up on it.
Yeah.
All right, so you climb up on it. You're kind of getting in amongst the mechanics of the machine. A lot of heavy stuff hanging over, but you look down, and all you can see is the Daily Chan, missing the T, and then almost scattered you see Sigil, 12th of.
I knew it. I knew it. That's what I was looking for.
Now,
He will examine what text remains.
give me a perception roll, Jimmy.
I do those. Okay. There is a 19.
So as
Does
you're
a good job.
as you're climbed up into this thing and you're looking down and you're focused in, you hear the mechanics and metal around you begin to groan and strain, and your instincts kick off, and you suddenly realize this is about to come down on top of you.
Just, oh fucker, and he starts to assess the fastest way out very quickly.
All right. Basically, you're going to have to dive out of the way, so just give me a dex save.
That's fine. We do those.
20.
There
All
you
right.
are.
Nice.
So you deftly just barrel out of this thing as the whole like press starts just coming down. You tumble out of the way, skitter across the floor and kind of land on your butt back against the wall, going, woo! All right.
I'm still a rogue, damn it. I can dive.
The press just slams shut where you were, down on top of itself. You just see wood and gears and springs go flying. You can feel the dust kick up across the room. As the dust kicks up across the room, Kasey, like it just blows across. You kind of guard your face for a second with your hands, and when you pull your hands down, you see the outline of a woman standing in front of you, covered in the dust. Arms crossed, foot tapping. You can almost sense either a sneer or a smile, but you can't see because the face isn't detailed.
Jimmy is using his own rather sharp eyes to examine out the area around the press where somebody might have tried to set it off on him.
Trying to see if it's intentional.
Yeah.
Investigation.
Hello?
18.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was set. This was set to rig.
Booby trapped.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm looking directly at the space where Bryn is. With a little smile on my face. Got you.
She is just going to sneer, take her hand, run her fingers along Kasey's chin, and just lean in, whisper in his ear, and be like, "I'm knowing you should be concerned about darling." And then walks over to make sure that Jimmy's okay.
I watched this with suspicion.
Sus.
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 Oh, Jimmy's brushing himself off. He hasn't actually had to dive out. He hasn't made a deck save in months. I tell
Who
you,
is
months.
this dusty lady walking across the room that I can clearly see? Hello?
Oh, man.
Hello?
Sons of bitches. He's looking around. Does he spot a dust-covered Bryn?
Yes. So she walked
Does-
over to you. She's
Does
making
he
sure you
recognize
Hello?
from a dusty outline?
Hello? Oh! Poke! Poke! Poke!
Let's say he
Poke.
does, honestly.
Yeah,
Poke.
I'd say
Tap,
so.
tap, tap. Poke!
He's met
Hello?
once or
Poke.
twice.
Poke! Tap!
As you
poke.
come over, Jimmy's brushing himself off, and he looks over at you and he says, "You got a little schmutz everywhere."
Poke. Tap, tap, poke. I'm not gonna stop. Poke,
Oh,
tap,
no.
poke.
Who you poking?
So this is our secret weapon.
Hello?
This is our powerful business associate, who's a little shy.
Poke.
Who's
I'm just going to prestidigitation, clean myself off so I can't be seen anymore.
Continues to
Poof.
poke the same spot. Poke.
So the person you were poking has stepped away. Invisible again.
Just keep poking the air and just like sweeping my hand to try to find whoever that was.
Jimmy says, "You see, I
Hello?
tried that with pennies, and I guess my reflexes weren't quite on the job that day." Did you see somebody tried to kill me? I think that's important.
Yes.
Probably.
Out the corner of my eye, we did spot that.
A little important.
Yeah. So,
Sus.
well, we were pretty on the money. I got up in there, and they had set the letter plates for the 12th of Regulus, and then tried to take them out in a hurry. So they're definitely running them, front running a few days in advance. I didn't get to see what the body text was. I didn't even catch the headline. Damn. Church, I was there looking at it. Can I use Jimmy's memory to see if he had glanced at the headline, if there was a headline left, to determine at least that much.
The headline and the body had already been scooped.
That's what I figured.
It looked like they tried to scoop all the letterhead out quickly, and that what you saw was just what got left behind.
Yeah.
The gig was up.
All right. Well,
I'm not sure whether Elim is in charge of the operation. I imagine not.
he's not all there in the head. I'm not sure even Modron could run a newspaper if they're insane.
No.
Organized or no, but we need to toss the place. And Jimmy sets to it immediately.
All right.
Yeah.
Start searching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so you're searching.
Mhm.
What's everyone else doing as he's searching?
Doing the same. I'm gonna try and look for clues that'll point to the actual mastermind behind the printing press.
Okay. So targeted investigation, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're searching. Bren, what are you doing?
I mean, at this time, I'm probably just going to be looking for papers with any typos that have 12th of Regulus on it. So I'm probably going to be like searching the trash bins at this time.
Okay. A little less cautious than normal, or?
Yeah, probably a little less cautious than normal, honestly.
All right. So yeah, every now and then somebody will see like a piece of paper fly out of a garbage can and sail across the room or something.
Sus.
What I need to roll?
Don't be so worried.
Oh, well, no, we're going to get everybody's investigation rolls separately in a sec. I just want to make sure we know what
Okay,
everyone's
okay.
doing, because we'll say the search takes a minute. Master, what are you doing?
I'm just saying how sus it is that stuff's moving by itself when no one's there.
What?
I mean, clearly somebody's there, right? I've seen the invisibility spell. I know how it works. I'm not completely ignorant. It bothers me, and Nill's just like, calm down.
Yeah, I mean,
Calm
it's probably
To be
figured out
honest.
by now.
Yeah.
Kasey is fully impressed at how long it's being held.
Yeah, Nill's just like, calm down. Calm down.
Oh yeah.
Clearly the invisibility is not accomplishing anything because you know they're there, right?
Well,
So relax.
well, what are you guys doing though, aside from the back and forth? Are you doing any activities at the time while you're talking?
We're looking through the papers, trying to figure out what Jimmy's looking for, and then kinda sorta looking for that.
You can just ask
Is
him.
what
We're
Nill's doing?
professionals. You can just ask.
Yeah.
Like, okay. It's like I'm barely grasping what you're talking about, like barely.
All right. Jimmy provides some instruction. Master, he's pretty sure, knows what's up. Nil, though, is new to this work, generally. So he does provide some guidance. We're looking for anything identifying of who might have been working here, anything that has their letterhead, communications to and from. Most businesses need those. If there's nothing, either they did that before they scooped the plates, or this is not a normal sort of business, and we
And
don't
don't
need to
forget-
feel quite so bad.
And don't forget any kind of belongings that said owner might have had or
That's
left
right,
here.
the magic shit. That's right. That too. But in the mundane realm where I tend to operate, I like bills, I like letters, I like orders. Payroll would be incredible.
Yeah.
Drafts, anything.
Okay. So, are you two searching as well?
One of me is reluctantly going back to looking for these things because he's actively upset. And Nil knows why, but he's
Okay.
trying to like bring it back into the search for investigative stuff.
All right, so the master is distracted.
Moderately, yes.
Okay. No, that's fine.
I mean, I don't know. I guess within the backstory that I haven't revealed yet, seeing someone that's there and not there would bother him.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Because visually, that's how he sees people that he can't remember.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. It's all good. It makes sense. I know everyone else doesn't know what's going on entirely, but I do. I know a secret.
If we get there.
No, that's all
Let's
good,
go.
and it's within character, within roleplay. So the only one we're missing right now is Tember. What are you doing, Tember?
I am going to search like the walls and floor. I'm trying to see if there's another way out of the warehouse other than the pronounced entrances.
Okay.
Because if they're trying to do something they may not want to get caught, there might be a way to get in and out without being seen.
Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just to speed things along. You guys, regardless of what you roll, won't find anything. You'll find a lot of messed up letterhead. You'll find broken type pieces. You'll find Modron tracks here and there, smudges on the walls from little Modron handprints. But nothing really identifying. Nothing beyond the 12th either.
Okay.
Though
So
all
nothing
very
in the
good.
wastebaskets?
No, nothing revealing. Nothing that would give you the information you need. Timber, however, I do need you to give me a search roll, please, or an investigation roll. Specifically.
Okay. Unfortunately, this is not my strong suit.
Feel free to call for assistance.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd know there'd be something to have help with, though.
That's fair.
You might know that it's not your strong suit, and it is the strong suit of a lot of people here.
I'll let you run with that if you
You
want.
would certainly see us growing more and more disgusted with our own task as time progresses.
Yeah. Your call, Timber. If it's not within character, that's fine.
I don't think, considering we're all looking for things, I don't think it'd be within the realm of possibility to say, hey, help me look, because I think I'm not going to know that your guys aren't going to be as fruitful.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's
That makes
perfectly all
sense?
right.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't find anything either.
Okay.
One of my things is that I can help from a distance. I think if.
But yeah, but
I recall correctly.
he's not asking for help. So it's all good.
Okay. Never mind.
I know. I want to, but
So
for all I know, you guys are going to have the better job finding the things, not me.
and the only other thing I'll say is, Kasey, with your eye for detail,
Mm-hmm.
give me a perception roll, please.
Okay.
So as you guys are wrapping up your search and frustratedly, kicking a rock and mumbling under your breath as people do when they're frustrated, you hear a slight movement behind the wall. Kind of just about 15 feet down from the door you came in. Like something just shuffled slightly, almost inaudible.
Okay.
Kasey holds his hand up and tries to get Jimmy's attention.
You have it. I think an intentional hand sign can be caught by 19.
Yeah. And points in the direction, points to his ears and then points in the general direction of where he heard the sounds coming from.
Right. Jimmy walks over, not trying remarkably to mask that he's walking, but they've been walking around this whole time. He just uses the same measured sort of step.
Okay.
And he pauses some 6 or 7 feet from the location that Kasey indicates.
try investigation roll. Let's see if you can see it.
Okay.
I'll give an assist.
Fair.
All right. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. You can definitely see that a panel was removed and replaced hurriedly. It's still flush with the wall, like the nails were put back where the nails were pulled from. And it's pretty well done for how quick it was obviously done, but your keen eye is enough to pick out the small abrasions in the surface where the thing was pried loose.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice nat 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Did you know that for many, many sessions now, Jimmy has carried a crowbar with him wherever he goes?
Actually, I think it's on your original mini.
Yes.
Whoa.
So would you
I
like to
believe
pry
I
it
also have a
loose?
crowbar.
That never hurts.
He pulls it out and he positions himself at one end of the panel.
Alright,
Casey, take up the other.
Ooh, it's squeezing.
Yeah.
that works.
All right. He's holding up fingers 5, 4, 3, and then once you have the cadence, he puts both hands on the crowbar, and then we're just
Yeah.
gonna pop it off the wall.
Pop.
It comes away easily enough. Inside, wedged very unceremoniously into the slats between the panels, is a severely mutilated,
Oh my.
strangely off-colored Modron.
Ooh, this one? Wow.
If it wasn't for the off-color, I'd say he'd look like anything else that you'd seen in a Modron, but this one you recognize.
We know about that. You say severely mutilated. He wasn't before. He's been damaged.
Oh, yeah, he's been really damaged. Really bad.
Is this a limb?
Yeah, that's the one. He's looking a little worse for wear. And Jimmy sort of tries to haul him out the wall.
Wait, so he wasn't looking this damaged when he was trying to catch Hicks, right?
No.
So he's been damaged since, and it wasn't really that long ago, so
No, it wasn't.
somebody was very upset with him, obviously. Well, this is a good opportunity to get some information.
So
Is he
you-
responsive? Jimmy's trying to, like, gingerly take him out of the wall, although
He's
how
heavy
much
as
does
heck.
a limb weigh? Yeah, that's right. He's solid metal and quite big.
He's very
Might take
big.
a few.
He's very big. So, is anyone assisting?
I will assist since I'm probably like 2 feet from them.
I
Mhm.
won't. Not even a little bit.
Not the slightest.
Dang.
I'll probably hurt someone. I have a -2 to strength, so no.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm not very strong. I mean, I'm
She's so mean.
average.
She's so mean. She just hates him. You can tell. So no, he's it's like pulling a large man out of the wall weight wise. He's cuboid with arms and legs. So you pull him out. Are you just throwing him on the ground? You gingerly laying him down?
Just sitting him down. I mean, he's basically a crate, but he's a very beat up crate.
Yeah, very.
I do have manacles. I can definitely stop him from being able to run away.
Oh, he's
No,
not.
He can, he's
Yeah.
not going anywhere, and he can fly.
Yeah, he's
That's true.
He's not. His wings have actually been completely ripped off.
Mhm.
Oof.
Ouch.
Haul him out, set him down, hunker down close to him, and say, "Hey, Lim, you still in there? It's harder to tell with a Modron." She's making little noises.
Creation.
It was all about that. I am not much of a mechanic.
Does it seem like it hurts him to talk?
Yeah.
Can I attempt something?
Okay.
Not my arm.
I can telepathically speak to any creature that I can see. Don't need to share our language, but it must be able to understand at least one language or be telepathic itself. I think this Elam could understand language. So maybe it could just talk to me without speaking.
Okay. So you're gonna try and telepathically reach out to Elam?
I'm very wary of doing this because it's been following me this entire time, and you know, I have like one fist balled up, and I'm like reluctantly approaching him.
Okay. So you're reaching
just,
out?
like, yeah, I'll voice the questions that Jimmy has.
Okay. Tell me your questions.
You would just put the lights on.
Jimmy?
I hadn't really thought about that yet. Did he fall afoul of his fellow Modron?
What happened to you?
So his mind kind of recoils from you for a second, and then it begins to speak a little more freely when he realizes what's going on. You can feel his light fading quickly.
Okay, at this point, I am going to bend down in front of him. Fuck the invisibility. I'm going to pull my hood up over me and bend down in front of Elam with my back to everyone, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds. Like, let's go with the 3rd level Cure Wounds, and then I'm going to pop invisibility again.
Okay. All right. So you cure him. He's a construct, so it does half as much, but the 3rd level is still solid. Do you want to roll for the amount?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just so we know kind of where he stands.
Plus that.
Okay.
And then I go invisible again.
All right. So that'll kind of stabilize him a bit.
See, I knew somebody else was here.
You just see a cloaked figure.
Poof. Heal. Poof.
Where'd she go? Where'd she go?
So that stabilizes him, which it's like telepathically, it's a breath of fresh air when you couldn't breathe. So there's a big sense of relief there. The images that spill into your mind from Elam tell a much different story than you expect. You get images of Elam following you guys, flying outside your window, trying to reach out and talk to characters. You know his story. But from his perspective, he's trying to protect you. He's vaguely aware of some shadowing, overhanging, menacing threat over not just you, but Sigil. But something in his mind has you all pegged as the key to stopping it. And he has done everything in his power to guide you and keep you safe. And when he saw Kasey, what's your familiar's name? I'm sorry. Hicks. When he saw Hicks come into the warehouse, he was there posing as one of the other Modrons, and he was desperately trying to get Hicks out before anyone else saw her. And when Hicks disappeared, the other Modrons caught him and figured out what was going on, and did this to him and stuffed him in the wall as they were tearing things apart on their way out.
Wow.
Hey, stop it!
Now, obviously, you are the only one that know that for now. It's up to you if you share. I don't want to force you to.
Oh, look at at the eye box. I'll look away. Wow.
What is going on?
Wow.
You were just like this.
So we're all looking at her going,
And
We've learned to be very
Here's
patient.
Here's the
with
cliffhanger for you. Can we call it there?
it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
we can. We
Yeah.
can. We definitely can. We have hit the midnight hour. So, yes, we will. We'll go ahead and call it here on an interesting little cliffhanger note. For those of you who have joined us, will join us, did join us in the past. Thank you very much. We will be back in 2 weeks to continue this ongoing saga. We'll be back next week with the World of Cairn, and we will be back Monday with another episode of Beyond the Veil. So,
Cha-ching.
be sure to join us. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.